不管一天打怎样，就要好好应对下一场比赛。
And you can see how Yichin's under pressure. What? Whoa! What was that?
2-0 run. Flash Wolves on form.
저희가 차선 실수만 줄이면은 전승은 충분히 할 것 같아요.
They are blocking the Q from BDD's nice
By Prey.
第二个比赛日的话，希望还是能赢2盘吧。我觉得我们有那个能力打到6连吧。
Theo em thì tất cả đều đánh giá thấp Evox, nên là em sẽ làm cho họ suy nghĩ đó là sai lầm.
Now with the dive to the top side, look at the damage! Solo kill, first Bloodhouse Stark!
If we go another O2, it will be like mostly like our mental. It will probably hurt us. And it will be really important for us to win at least one game.
And King's Zone are smashing North America's hope.
It's really important for us to get the win and to really showcase like North America as like a really good region. Losing is not an option.
Welcome to Berlin, Germany, host of the 2018 MSI group stage. After playing their first games yesterday, the teams now look to strengthen their position as we get closer and closer to the semifinals. Here you see some of the players making their way into the studio just moments ago. 6 more games ahead of us here on day 2. Hello everyone, I'm James Dash Patterson, joined by Indiana Frosker in black, Chris Papa Smithy Smith, and Joshua Jat Leesman. I think it's safe to say that the games did not go the way people expected them to on day 1, but that just points to a very intriguing and interesting group stage ahead of us.
Yeah, I said yesterday I always loved MSI group stage because of the surprises. I've changed my mind.
You don't like the surprises anymore.
Like surprises.
Right.
If the surprise is Team Liquid going 0-2 on day 1 for me, so hopefully they can bounce back today.
Well, with that, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, he's a great company. EU's down there as well as O2, so it's not just you.
Everyone's happy.
Exactly. As we saw yesterday, Kingzone got off to a great start along with the Flash Wolves. Following them, though, in 3rd place, we have EVOS Esports and Royal Never Give Up, with Fnatic and Team Liquid still looking for their first wins. Now, with these results in mind, I want to know what your guys' takeaways are from our first day of play. Obviously, Jat does not like surprises. Papa Smithy, what are you looking at?
I mean, the big thing for me is the Flash Wolves, because the Flash Wolves have been around. They've always been around. They've been a bit up and down in performances. To me, the biggest takeaway for the Flash Wolves, apart from the scoreline, is the fact that they had 5 performing members. Every time we see the Flash Wolves, we had things to say about their top laner. We had their things to say about their AD carry. It's only one day's play, but they have 5 people performing at the same time. And that's a pretty hype thing for the Flash Wolves.
And it was also Flash Wolves staying true to themselves.
Sure.
You know, this is a team that likes to play through their bot lane. They like to put Betty on those comfort champions, priority picking up the Varus, getting a roaming mid laner. So they didn't try to experiment too much on the international stage and came in as strong contenders.
When you look at MSI history, the team from the LMS has actually always made it through to the group stage. Only LCK, LPL, and the LMS can say that. So the fact that so many of us just wrote off Flash Wolves because they'd lost Carlstar before the tournament, they kind of proved why that was a mistake early on.
And Jat, we joke about it, but in all reality, Team Liquid going 0-2 was a surprise, in particular, the loss to EVOS Esports.
Yeah, and the way they lost as well. The fact that they picked Gangplank top lane for impact, even though a lot of people have been doing Gangplank, Liquid shied away from that in the latter half of the year, and I want to see them return to just putting impact on a good CC tank, and I want to see them play cleaner. They were so clean in the playoffs, and they lost that. But then surprises keep coming, because we're going to talk about it more later, but Ole's not playing the first game. They're starting Joey.
Yes, that is a big storyline for the day. We'll get into that in just a bit. But Frostgren, what are your major takeaways from day 1's play?
I'm always excited about kind of the tournament meta that starts to form. And yeah, I'm a little bit gun-shy because it's only been 1 day of play, but specifically the 80 carry champion pool. The fact that we're seeing the rise of the double tier Ezreal, I think that, personally, I think it's way too strong. It needs to be taken away. away, especially from King Zone. But a lot of people are saying, you know, where is Caitlyn? I had the chance. I spoke to Betty. I spoke to Uzi, and they personally think that Caitlyn has just disappeared from the international stage because she takes too long to scale up. The games are going too quick, and the tempo is just not right for her to reach that breaking point in itemization, whereas the Rage Blade AD carries are continuing to take over.
Some pros perspective there. We'll see how the meta continues to develop throughout our 5-day group stage. Let's go ahead and move ahead to today's schedule, where Fnatic get a chance to bounce back in their very first game here against King Zone. After that, we've got our 2 third-place teams facing off before the Flash Wolves look to continue their winning streak against Team Liquid.
I think the elephant in the room is, can anyone even beat King Zone? With this schedule, especially with Fnatic's dropped performance yesterday, it should be an easy day for them. But, you know, as the tournament progresses, where do you look for weaknesses here?
I think with King Zone, a lot of people look at them, they say, is this going to be the first undefeated tournament? I wasn't there pre-tournament. I'm still not there now.
Okay.
I feel like they've shown in the LCK finals, one style with the Kai'Sa, that worked. The Ezreal style with TP, that works. I think they're ready to show new things. And we have practice teams here where if they're firing on all cylinders, they can drop a game. A game, yes. A series, maybe not.
It's a scary thought to think they have more things to show, Jack.
Yeah, and also we have to keep in mind that no team in a 10-team group stage at MSI has gone 9-1, let alone 10-0 in the group stage, because we have to remember it's the #1 team from every single region in the world that's here at MSI.
Right.
Then they filtered it to the top 6 through the play-in stage to get here, so it is so insanely difficult to actually beat every single one of these teams twice without messing up once.
Right, tracking the Titans in King Zone will be one of the things we do today. Another very interesting matchup that we have comes in our final game of the day, the classic EU versus NA, but as well, these are 2 teams sitting currently at 0-2. Of course, they'll have one opportunity to pick a game up here at the top of the day, only then to face off against each other.
I think it's about going back to identity. You know, Fnatic, Reckless came out, he played Kai'Sa, he played Jhin, 2 of these champions that we almost never see him on. He hasn't played Jhin the entirety of the 2018 spring split, whereas TL, you know, reaching for that gangplank. So I want to see, as Jat's saying, you know, throw it out, go back to comfort, and actually give us a good, you know, clash.
Yeah, and Reckless as well as Fnatic played so below expectations yesterday. Reckless was the MVP of the European LCS with 88 kills across 18 games. He had 1 kill yesterday in 2 games. Just terrible. And then you look at Liquid, subbing out Ole, also playing pretty poorly. You know, they have to step it up in a big way. So that game could very well be 2 0-3 teams trying to pick up their first win.
Let's talk about that substitution just briefly. Joey coming in. This is a guy who has very little experience on big stages, has been subbed in twice during his days on CLG over in NA, played in Challenger a bit. But then to show up here on day 2 of an international competition against 1 seeds from across the world, Papa Smithy, what can even be the expectation here?
So, I mean, it's been very clear they haven't really been screaming with this guy. At the end of the day, he's very much been just taking a backseat role. I think his first test is very simply, he's going to be put on something in lane. Can he perform in lane? And the evolving question is, can the team evolve their warding patterns to actually support making this work? Because as the game goes on, jungle support, and it's increasingly only support, can ward in the late game. He's going to need a lot of assistance, and they're going to need to cover the slack to really make it work.
I mean, that said, his champion pool, he has a lot of Taric. It's his #1 played champion. I know that Liquid like to play Taric during the regular split, so I think that it's not going to be too hard for him to kind of fit into the system that Liquid have.
I'd also like to get a read on our other 2-0 team in Flash Wolves. Again, a bit of a surprise yesterday that they found themselves at the top of the table. Frostgren, what's your take on the actual strength of this team moving forward in the tournament?
I went back. I was hard on the Flash Wolves yesterday. I think it was a strength of schedule issue, especially for how poor performing Fnatic were yesterday. I watched the VODs. I'm still not completely convinced on Flash Wolves. Some of their setups, particularly around Baron, I think there's a lot to exploit there. That said, day 2, this is the important one for me. This is the time where Flash Wolves can shut me up and say, yes, they are true contenders for this tournament.
And I think a lot of people overlooked Flash Wolves, including the teams in the tournament.
Yes.
The fact that Betty so easily got Varus both games, his comfort AD carry in an AD carry meta, I think should change, and we'll see how they adapt to that.
All right, we've already seen some surprising results, and now you guys have another chance to make a fool out of yourselves. Let's take a look at your predictions for day 2. Papa Smithy, you have the unfortunate position of being in a game down here because of the predictions made by Vidius yesterday, sitting at that 500.
I can't wait to take down Guest.
That pesky Guest. And really, in actuality, you guys only differ here in the final game of the day, that Fnatic versus Team Liquid game.
Yeah, and I also want to note that the first 3 predictions are locked for us. We have the opportunity to change the next 3 based on the results today. But
is that your way of throwing me a lifeline? Like I can come to the
we might need it. We also might need that lifeline.
Say that, and I'm not going to let you live it down if you do change.
It's one of those things where pre-tournament, I felt like Liquid had a good matchup against Fnatic. I really need to see the first performance with Joey and work out, is it actually just a sizable change? change, then you can probably have to make the adaptation. But if they look similar, if it goes similarly, then I think Liquid have a good matchup.
I'm actually in total agreement with Papa Smithy. Initially coming into the day, I had Team Liquid favored in the Fnatic matchup, but there's no way in good confidence right now with how Impact is performing and how having a brand new support that I can say that I think Fnatic, they'll throw it out, they'll go back to their team fighting style, and it's just easier to execute. So that's why I have Fnatic favored here.
And I was penciling in Team Liquid against Flash Wolves yesterday.
Until
thinking that, hey, if Ole can get his mental together, if he can focus and play more like he did during the good times in Team Liquid, they'll be all right. But after hearing the announcement that Ole actually wants to step back and refocus a little bit and they're bringing in Joey, I just can't in good confidence say this dude who's
with
played
zero evidence
2 LCS
Sword
games
Art
with
Joey.
Aphromoo and played on the Academy team of Liquid is going to be able to beat Sword Art on the international stage. So that's why I still have Liquid penciled in for Fnatic, is like maybe one game's enough to warm up, but we'll have to see.
It's a bit of a flip-flopper's dream, it feels like today, that we do have that extra variable, and now it's like, whoa. I agree with you. I was all about Liquid 2-0. You lost a bit of heart, and now...
Can we also acknowledge the difficulty facing EVOS Esports today, facing both RNG and Kingzone? They are sitting at 1-1, having picked up that win yesterday against Team Liquid. If they want to keep that momentum going, it would require them to upset one of these two Goliaths of a team.
I mean, that said, there's also the aspect of like kind of no pressure on them because they are against the top 2 teams in the tournament, as a lot of people are predicting. So for them, I just think you play fearless, you go back to your style, and you just throw everything that you got and see what sticks.
All right, well, there you have it. That's about going to do it for us here at the desk. The teams are readying up as we speak. So that's enough from us here at the Analyst Desk. Time to send it over to the casters and enjoy today's games.
Thank you very much, Dash, and hello, everyone. I'm Aaron Medic Chamberlain, joined by Andrew Vedius Day. And in the middle of this delicious Medi-Vedi sandwich, we've got a bit of Canadian bacon. It's Isaac Azael Cummings Bentley. How you doing, mate?
I was doing better before you said that.
Understandable, understandable. Our first game is between Kingzone and Fnatic, with the LCK champions playing on the blue side. In the top lane, it is Khan, their jungler Peanut, mid BDD, AD carry Prey, support Gorilla, and their coach Axing.
And these guys just look unstoppable after their day one performance. A lot of it did come down to Prey and his Ezreal. I feel like this is a champion that you cannot afford to give him. But overall, like, we still got to see Khan's Camille. We got to see what Peanut can do if he has a strong early game. This whole team just feels unstoppable.
It really does, and it's always funny to me when people talk about, you can't give them this, you can't give them that, because there's so many things that you're not supposed to give over to Kingzone. You know, people saw, well, why are they giving them Kai'Sa in the finals? And then he's playing Ezreal, well, why are you giving him Ezreal? And then he's going to get another pick. Well, you can't give him that either, right? You know, they're just so good on so many picks. They can play so many strategies, and that is why they are far and away the best team at this tournament so far.
So far, you never know. Maybe they'll be upset today, because on the other side, we have Fnatic still looking for their first win. In the top lane is Whippo, their jungler Broxer, their mid lane Caps, AD carry, the inevitable Reckless, support Hillisang, and their coach Dylan Falco.
And the big question for Fnatic and Reckless in particular is he going to be able to step up? Throughout the whole regular season, throughout the playoffs, this was a very heavy 2-carry team. Caps and Reckless performing very well, and Caps performed excellently yesterday, but Reckless was not there, kind of giving that damage from the bottom lane, and he's going to have to turn out a better performance if they want to compete against these top-level teams.
I do feel that Reckless really did underperform yesterday, and I hope that it was just kind of a bit of jitters coming into the first day of the tournament. He's still playing in his home region. He should feel a little bit more comfortable now that he will be playing alongside what seems to be a very proactive Caps. He did come in bringing Yasuo in his very first game of the tournament. He had a fantastic outplay onto Xiaohu, and while he did have a lot of successes, he had a couple of mishaps too. So if we can just find a bit of consistency from the young superstar in the middle lane and a little bit of return to form for Reckless, perhaps Fnatic can put up a bit more of a better challenge against Kingzone.
It'll be interesting, too, to see, what their pick ban strategy is going to be, because in Reckless' interview yesterday with Travis, he was talking about how he wanted to go back to Comfort, how, the Jhin and the Kai'Sa weren't as practice for them, and it'll be interesting to see if that's going to be the case.
Well, we'll find out in just a second, because we are going to jump on into pick ban. Yesterday, we saw teams targeting out